Okay, so in preparation of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, I'm not going to review all the Harry Potter movies because, one, I haven't seen all of them, and even if I did, I don't have the time. And since Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them stars Eddie Redmayne, why not do a review of arguably his most notable movie, The Theory of Everything. Now, Eddie Redmayne had already gotten some buzz over his breakthrough performance in Les Miserables, which I think is a fantastic movie. I love that movie so much. And so when I heard that they were actually going to be making a movie about Stephen Hawking, one of my favorite scientists, and it was going to star Eddie Redmayne, I was like, wow, that actually doesn't sound like a bad idea. And when I first saw the trailer for The Theory of Everything, my mind exploded as to how accurate Eddie Redmayne looked as Stephen Hawking. And when it came out in theaters, I was gracious enough to see it, and I gotta say, I was not disappointed. The Theory of Everything is a great movie. First, let me talk about Eddie Redmayne's performance as Stephen Hawking. I'm not even kidding. This is one of the best performances from an actor I've ever seen in my life. I'm serious. He completely encapsulates everything that's Stephen Hawking. He has the humor down, he has the tragedy down, he has the look down. I mean, when you actually see him around the end of the movie where he's basically Stephen Hawking as we know him, it's uncanny. He looks exactly like Stephen Hawking. It's almost kind of scary. And of course, he more than deserved that Oscar for Best Actor. I haven't seen Birdman yet, and Michael Keaton might have been really great in the movie, who knows? But Eddie Redmayne. Eddie Redmayne is Stephen Hawking in this movie. There's no one I can imagine being Stephen Hawking other than Eddie Redmayne. And the process in which they had to film, apparently they actually filmed out of continuity because they had to be certain places, and so it's just amazing to see that Eddie Redmayne was actually still able to bounce back and forth as to how his body should be now, or how his body should be a bit later, or what his body should be a few days ago. So much so that I think he really steals the show from the other actors. Not to say that Felicity Jones and Charlie Cox don't give good performances, because they do, but they are clearly overshadowed by Eddie Redmayne in this movie. But I digress. Let me talk about Felicity Jones' performance as Jane Hawking. She too is really great. Again, Eddie Redmayne steals the show, but still, she still does a fantastic performance. She's still great in the movie. I feel all the emotion that she's, going through, because, her husband could die at any time, and she has to deal with this. And it's really interesting to watch, and she's great in the movie. Charlie Cox, who you might know from Netflix's Daredevil, also is in this movie, and he too gives a pretty genuine performance. He plays Jonathan, I'm trying to think, is that a church choir organizer? I don't know what the term is, but basically he sort of conducts the choir at this one church, and he sees the issues that Jane's going through, and tries to help her out and trying to take care of not only her kids, but Stephen as well. And luckily this doesn't come off as, oh my god, she's cheating on Stephen Hawking. No, it doesn't come off like that. He comes off as a guy who's legitimately trying to help this family, who really needs some help, because, like I said, Jane's pretty much the only one who's able to take care of her family until Jonathan comes in and helps out. And whenever the characters make certain choices in this movie, it doesn't come off as unlikable or douchey. It doesn't really come off like that. It really comes off as that they're in the situation, and sometimes bad choices are going to be made. And some characters are aware of this and saying, I really should not be thinking like this. There are bigger things going on. I shouldn't really be feeling like this. I gotta do what's best for the situation. And that's a really big plus for the movie, because it could have been so easy to take the typical romance route and just have characters betray other characters for no reason, or even if they do have a reason, it just comes off as an unrelatable reason. Like, why would you do that? That makes no sense why you would do that. No, like I said, whenever characters make a choice in this movie, you understand that. I mean, you may not approve of what they're doing, but you can at least understand why they are doing this. That's what makes a great character, is motivation. Another thing that's just really fantastic in this movie is the score by Johan Johansson. I hope I pronounced that right. But this guy, I recently discovered this guy a couple of years ago when I first saw this movie. And he's a really great composer. Like, he's done movies, like he's done scores for this movie, The Danish Girl. He's a really good composer, and he really shines in this movie. He's really good at this. I will say the first third, it's not that there's not anything important, because, I mean, what they're saying is important, and you do need to flesh out the characters. It's just, I don't know, something about the some points in the first third that were kind of boring, and I feel like something could have been done to make it a little bit more interesting. I just don't know how to describe it. But I will say, away from those scenes, the rest of the movie is just fantastic. Especially the last third of the movie. That's where everything just comes into full dramatic heft. And I mean, it's kind of strange. Like the last third of the movie has a bit of a few mixed things in it. There is some really great drama, but there's also a lot of comedy in there when Stephen Hawking inevitably has to have his vocal cords removed, and he has to speak through a computer. And as we all know, the real Stephen Hawking is pretty notorious for his dry humor. It's really strange, because whenever he makes a joke, that monotone, boring computer voice makes the jokes that he says a lot funnier because of that voice. Like, for example, when he was on John Oliver, he was just insulting John Oliver and saying, "You're stupid." I mean, normally that wouldn't be funny, but the fact that this is Stephen Hawking, one of the most brilliant people in the world, and the fact that he has a computer voice just makes it funnier, because the delivery is just so bland and dry. And luckily this movie understands that. This movie understands that Stephen Hawking has so much personality without having a real human voice, and that's what makes Stephen Hawking Stephen Hawking. Overall, this is a great movie. I love The Theory of Everything. Most of the reasons why I love this movie are from its performances, especially from Eddie Redmayne. But this movie also thrives on having very relatable characters, great music, and the fact that they understood how to portray Stephen Hawking. And so I'm going to give The Theory of Everything a 9 out of 10. It's strange. I feel like I've been procrastinating something ever since the beginning of the year. I'm trying to think of what that is. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it so that we can get this channel circulating. And if you want to see more, click this.